Welcome to North Carolina, the land of misty Blue Ridge peaks, charming coastal towns, and that famous southern hospitality. At least, that is the version the tourism boards want you to see. But behind the rocking chair porches and sweet tea smiles, North Carolina hides something far darker. We are talking about hotels where human skeletons were discovered behind elevator shafts, where paranormal investigators recorded the screams of a murdered bride, and when they returned months later, recorded the exact same scream again. Where a hotel owner spent her first night alone in her new property, only to feel invisible nails scratching against her bedroom wall before the sheets were ripped clean off her bed. These are not campfire stories. These are documented incidents, recorded evidence, testimonials from hotel staff who have worked these halls for decades. The Washington Post has officially named one of these hotels among the 13 most haunted in America. We are counting down 7 hotels in North Carolina where guests have experienced things that simply cannot be explained. Before we begin, if you find this fascinating, tap that subscribe button. You will not want to miss what is coming. Number 7. The Brunswick Inn in Southport. Our countdown begins on the Cape Fear coast. Southport looks like something from a postcard, with white clapboard houses and Spanish moss hanging from ancient oaks. But the Brunswick Inn tells a different story. This bed and breakfast has stood along the Cape Fear River for more than 150 years. One guest checked in during the summer of 1882, and he never truly left. His name was Antonio Casaletta, an Italian harpist who had come to perform at the inn. One August afternoon, Antonio went sailing on the river, and he never returned. His body was pulled from the water the following day. That very night, guests reported hearing harp music drifting through the corridors. When staff investigated, they found Antonio's harp sitting exactly where he had left it, every single string broken. Yet the music continued. Today, the owners openly acknowledge that Tony still roams the halls. He moves objects from room to room, and he opens doors that were firmly closed. While his body lies buried in Old Smithville burying ground, his spirit has never checked out. The staff say he simply loved music too much to stop playing. Number 6. The Biltmore Greensboro Hotel. Travel inland to Greensboro, and you will find a hotel with secrets buried in its walls. The Biltmore began its life in 1903 as an office building for the Cohn brothers, textile magnates who helped transform North Carolina into an industrial powerhouse. The building changed hands over the decades. One story claims it became an upscale apartment building. Another version suggests it operated as a brothel during the Depression and the Second World War. 2 spirits haunt these halls. The first is Philip, an accountant who worked for the Cohn brothers. One morning, Philip was found in the alley beside the building. His throat had been slashed. The murder was never solved. Some believe Philip discovered an embezzlement scheme and paid with his life. Guests in room 332 report heavy footsteps pacing above them when the floor is empty. One woman woke to find a figure standing at the foot of her bed. The second spirit is Lydia. Lydia was a young woman with long red hair who was thrown from the second-floor balcony. Since 2009, 5 male guests have filed reports claiming they were pushed while descending those same stairs. Room 223 was Lydia's room. Housekeepers still find long strands of red hair beside the bathroom sink after thorough cleaning. The tap turns itself on. Staff advise guests to bring something pink if they stay in her room. The hotel no longer permits paranormal investigations, but the incident reports keep accumulating. Number 5. Lake Lure Inn and Spa. 1 hour east of Asheville sits a resort town that Hollywood made famous. Lake Lure provided the backdrop for Dirty Dancing, but the Lake Lure Inn holds memories of a different kind. Dr. Lucius Morris built this inn in 1927. F. Scott Fitzgerald stayed here. President Franklin Roosevelt relaxed on these verandas. During the Second World War, wounded soldiers recovered within these walls. But it is the tragedy of the 1930s that left the deepest mark. A young couple arrived for their honeymoon. That evening, the groom spotted his bride speaking with another man in the lobby. He flew into a jealous rage. By morning, his bride was dead in their room. Guests in room 217 and room 218 report seeing a woman in a white gown drifting through corridors at night. The scent of roses fills empty hallways. And then there are the screams. Paranormal investigators recorded a woman screaming in room 217. Months later, they recorded another scream. The recordings were nearly identical, the same pitch, the same duration, the same desperate terror, captured twice in a room where no living woman was present. Number 4. The Dunhill Hotel in Charlotte. Charlotte's only historic boutique hotel opened in November 1929 as the Mayfield Manor. The stock market had just crashed. For some, the Dunhill's elegant tower represented everything they had lost. Desperate people began using its height to end their suffering. But the hotel's most disturbing secret remained hidden for decades. In the 1980s, renovations required moving the elevator shaft. Workers broke through a wall and discovered human remains, a complete skeleton. The identity remained a mystery for 35 years. Investigators eventually identified the remains as Oliver Doc Mundy, a Second World War veteran from Mooresville. Mundy had lived on Charlotte streets around the time of his disappearance. How he ended up behind that wall remains unsolved. Today, employees speak of a spirit called Dusty. He knocks on doors when no one is in the corridor. He moves objects around guest rooms. He opens elevator doors when no one has pressed the button. Room 906 is considered most active. One guest reported every light and appliance flickering simultaneously. Then came 3 distinct taps on her nightstand. The clock read exactly 3 in the morning. If learning which rooms to avoid after dark is useful to you, that subscribe button is waiting. I post these warnings every week with real research and genuine testimonials. Number 3. The Green Park Inn in Blowing Rock. High in the Blue Ridge Mountains sits a grand hotel that time forgot. The Green Park Inn first welcomed guests in 1891. John D. Rockefeller walked these halls. Presidents Coolidge and Hoover slept in these rooms. Legend says Margaret Mitchell wrote portions of Gone with the Wind here. The Washington Post named it one of the 13 most haunted hotels in the United States. Her name was Laura Green. She was a young woman engaged to be married at the little church in Blowing Rock. Her wedding day arrived, but her groom never appeared. Abandoned at the altar, Laura returned to the Green Park Inn devastated. That night, in room 318, she hanged herself. Guests have reported seeing a woman in a wedding gown wandering the 3rd floor ever since. She appears most frequently near room 318. Guests have woken to find her standing in their doorways, still wearing the dress she was meant to be married in. The hotel maintains a ghost log in the lobby. The staff live by a quiet motto: we respect the privacy of all our guests, whether or not they have ever checked out. Number 2. The Carolina Inn in Chapel Hill. On the University of North Carolina campus sits a hotel students call the university's living room. The Carolina Inn opened in 1924. As many as 20 ghosts are said to walk its corridors. It has been named one of the 10 most haunted hotels in America. The most famous spirit is Dr. William J. Cox, a retired physician. In 1948, he moved into room 252 and lived there for 17 years until his death. He never left. Guests in what is now room 256 report being inexplicably locked out. On one occasion, maintenance had to use a ladder to break in through the window. The piano in the lobby plays itself at night. Curtains open on their own. Staff also speak of a heavy-set man who wanders the halls checking door handles. Whether he is protecting guests or trapping them, no one can say. Number 1. The Omni Grove Park Inn in Asheville. We arrive at the most famous haunted hotel in North Carolina. The Grove Park Inn opened in 1913. Harry Houdini performed here. F. Scott Fitzgerald stayed here. Former President Obama has slept within these walls. But none of that matters as much as what happened one evening in 1920. A young woman checked into room 545 wearing a beautiful pink gown. That night, she fell from the 5th floor balcony to the Palm Court atrium below. She died instantly. Her body was quietly rolled into a carpet and removed. No scandal, no investigation, no answers. Was it suicide? An accident? Or was she pushed? No one knows. But the Pink Lady has remained here for over a century. She appears as a pink mist floating through hallways. Guests report cold spots moving through rooms, the feeling of someone sitting on their bed. Young men wake to find someone playing with their hair. The Pink Lady seems particularly fond of children. She has been spotted beside the beds of young guests who fell ill, speaking softly and stroking their hands. One doctor left a note asking staff to thank the lady in pink. His children had enjoyed playing with her. Today, the Grove Park Inn displays a pink dress in her honor. Anyone can request room 545. Many do. It is booked solid every October. The Pink Lady checked in one autumn evening in 1920. She has never checked out. If you found this video useful, please subscribe. Make sure to watch the next video that appears on your screen right now.